So, what if you wanted a German Shepherd dog without that stance that they are now known for? So the back end of the German Shepherd dog as a show version has been squatted down, and to make their appearance more dominating, they say, but it loses all functionality. It is associated with a lot of health problems, especially hip dysplasia. And also they cut out the thicker coats, the longer coat German Shepherd as a show dog. They are not longer recognized. So in the past you had long-haired and short-haired German Shepherds, and now only the short-haired ones are recognized. And the longer coats are not anymore. But if you wanted, you could still get them, and they are called Old German Shepherds. And those dogs are bigger in general, have a thick coat and also the normal stance. Also, if you look at performance, oftentimes these dogs have far more drive than other German Shepherds, because they are still selected to work. They also tries to work, including his mouth, to get out the mouse that is probably sitting there. But these old German Shepherds bring you a lot of the benefits of the older German Shepherds. So a good working dog that also has a good coat to stay outside if needed and to guard the premises. Also a much more functional body and a more able character for working. So these could be tremendous benefits. Also because the health is often a lot better, because they don't have that squatted stance, and they are just more functional type of dogs altogether. They are, however, not recognized as a show breed, so if you want to have a show dog, of course, you should look elsewhere. But those, if I wanted to get a German Shepherd, the old German Shepherd would be the way I would look to get a dog with those looks and add it to my family. Also, the character of those old German Shepherds is more appealing to me. Not only their working ability, but also they seem more stable and less easy to be frightened, and also less nippy. So they are good for working, also in protection work, but they are not overly nippy, that they easily scare and often act out of fear aggression. They are more of a dominance aggressive breed, and that's easier to control, in my opinion. If you're not into this old German Shepherd, but you like the looks of such a dog, there are other alternatives, especially from the United States of America, which developed an even bigger German Shepherd derivative called the Shiloh Shepherd, and they did this by in-crossing Alaska Malamute in German show shepherds, so to say. So I would rather for them to start with this old German Shepherd, because it was a better base. The character of the Shiloh Shepherd is a lot more mild, so they're more of a pet household type of dog, whereas the old German Shepherd is more of a working type of dog. And there are other options, of course. If you wanted to have a dog that's even bigger, there's a King Shepherd, also from the United States. And this dog doesn't only incorporate Alaska Malamute, which is a big sled dog type of dog, so adding size, but also the Pyrenean mountain dog, also known as the Pyrenean Mastiff, which adds even more bulk and coat to the dog. If you wanted to have more working capabilities, you could also go the other direction. So then you could look at high Belgian and Dutch Shepherds. And these, especially the Belgian Malinois, could be named, and the Dutch Shepherd, especially the smooth-coated variety, would be yours. Also, Belgian Malinois have cousins, for example, the Groenendael and the Lakendale, but also the Tervuren, which have different coats, especially the De Vuren and Groenendael have the coat of a longer, long-haired German Shepherd. But if you want to look at performance, there's only one way in the Belgian. That's the Malinois, and especially the Malinois X. The X stands for crosses, and they are often crossed with Dutch Shepherds, but also German Shepherds. Those that can still perform to add bulk and more power to the Malinois, and those can also look quite a lot like German Shepherds, of course, because they make up part of the foundation, but they have a far more agile and work orientated build. Well, I hope you like this video. If you do, feel free to subscribe if you want more content. Have a great day. On this morning walk we are going to talk about the Shiloh Shepherd. So what is a Shiloh Shepherd? Is it just a version of the German Shepherd dog we all know, or is it completely a different breed? Now let's start with the end. It is a version of the German Shepherd, but also a completely different breed, because it also carries other blood. So now starting with the beginning. In the past the German Shepherd came in a variety of coat lengths. Nowadays, like this is show version, it only comes with one coat length normally, which is not the long coat. It's a short coated German Shepherd. And also, due to the show breeding background of this dog also has become different in appearance. How so? Especially the back, as you can see here with my Petticoat Terrier. It should be straight and functional. The back of the current day German Shepherd is sloping dramatically, and they wanted to have the shoulders more towering, and they wanted to do this visual trick by decreasing the height of its loins, so the back was sloping very much to the bottom, and this is not functional. This is how performance dog should work. With that also came a drastic increase in hip dysplasia and other joint problems within the German Shepherd breed. So one is they became less and less in variety of coat colors, for example, also in builds, because they only bred with the short-haired version as an FCE registered show dog. And the second thing is that they bred in less functionality and lots of health problems. So what is a Shiloh Shepherd? A Shiloh Shepherd is a shepherd which also has many of the traits of the German Shepherd, but mostly a richer coat. And how did they do this? They introduced another breed, and that other breed is the Alaskan Malamute. The Alaskan Malamute is a sled dog, and of the sled dogs he's the biggest and the most even-tempered. Samoyed is also a sled dog with an even temper, but they are a lot smaller. And also Samoyeds are also for herding reindeers, whereas the Alaskan Malamute is just a pure sled dog, and they are also called the pulling train of the sled dog family, whereas Huskies are more the racehorse. So with adding this breed, they also got a lot of the edges that most shepherd breeds have. Also the nature was a lot easier, a lot friendlier. And within the shepherd family you have the German shepherds, but also further cousins such as the Belgian shepherd, most known as the Malinois, and also the Dutch Shepherd breed, most known as the smooth-coated Dutch Shepherd. And those two types are a lot more intense and characterful and highly driven. And the German Shepherd was already quite a relaxed shepherd breed compared to the most of the others. So that gives you some context as well. So the result is a Shiloh Shepherd, which is a lot bigger than a German Shepherd is. Also the chest is a lot broader. The colors are often quite the same, but also come in a higher variety, because the German Shepherd is normally black and tan, but now with the Shiloh Shepherd you also have a lot more grey scales in between. Some are even completely cream colored. They also have dogs that are very dark, which also was in the past a color you saw quite often with German Shepherd dogs. The character of a Shiloh Shepherd is a lot easier for the average family. They're also imposing dogs, so they have the German Shepherd look, but a lot bigger, like on steroids. But the character is very easy going. As the fence dog, once it should be going, it should be a stronger dog than a German Shepherd, but the drive is far less. So also the drive to protect, to be alert, to be wary of strangers. Okay, alternatives. Of course you could look at the regular German Shepherd, but then you have all the downsizes as well. There's also the old German Shepherd, which often comes with a long coat as well, and a straight back, and also a little bigger and more performance drive. So this could be the best performance version. And there's the King Shepherd, which is like the Shiloh Shepherd but even bigger, because next to Alaska Malamute it also adds Great Pyrenees blood. This is a big livestock protection breed. Goedemorgen. So that was my video about the Shiloh Shepherd. I hope you enjoyed. Have a great day. Today we will discuss the King Shepherd. And what if you could have a German Shepherd that's almost twice the size in weight as a German Shepherd? That is the King Shepherd. So why is it the King? Because it is so big. Therefore they have named it the King. And if you go back to the history of the King Shepherd, it was developed by fanciers of German Shepherds that also liked the initiative of the Shiloh Shepherd. The Shiloh Shepherd I will shortly mention so that you understand what it is. The Shiloh Shepherd is a German Shepherd crossed with Alaskan Malamute, and those dogs that result out of those crosses would have different colors, but most were still selected black and tan, or shades thereof. And they had a more woolly coat and also a stronger body. So for example the hips of the show German Shepherd have all kinds of detriments, being in functionality but also hip dysplasia, and then they bred it to as a very strong and also gentle natured dog, being the Alaskan Malamute, who also has a wolf-like appearance. And the combination resulted in Shiloh Shepherd. So why do I mention the Shiloh Shepherd when I'm talking about the King Shepherd? Because in its essence, the King Shepherd has the German Shepherd in its pedigree, but also the Alaskan Malamute and the Pyrenean Mastiff, which is a bigger livestock protection breed, all white normally, sometimes little colored patches, but also from the livestock protection breeds. This is one of the most gentle natured dogs, so they are very friendly in general towards humans, and also have a gentle character like the Alaskan Malamute has. But that put aside, also the development of the King Shepherd and the Shiloh Shepherd were intertwined. Because in the development of the King Shepherd they also used the Shiloh Shepherd. So what are the benefits? Like the Shiloh Shepherd you get a bigger dog with a more normal stance, so the back is not squatted like the show German Shepherds often are. And you have a far bigger dog also with a thicker coat. And the character is a lot more gentle. As I mentioned, Alaskan Malamute is a gentle sled dog breed who is famous for a sled dog being very accommodating amongst children, so very gentle with them, and also has tremendous strength, but is now a show breed. And that dog also puts up a lot of additional weight as compared to a pure German Shepherd dog, and also a very thick coat. The Pyrenean mountain dog, or also known as the Pyrenean Mastiff, adds even more bulk because it's a lot bigger dog, and also it has a very thick coat as well. So you can imagine that also by these contributions the dogs that result out of these crosses are even bigger. I think the Pyrenean mountain dog as such could be a better mix with German Shepherd dog than the Alaskan Malamute. Alaskan Malamute of course is like a German Shepherd, a little bit more of a wolf type of dog, but Pyrenean mountain dog also has a protection purpose like many German Shepherds also have. So that could be a point in there, but also if you were looking for a protection dog, you would be far better off by breeding in a little bit of Anatolian Shepherd. It's also a very big livestock protector. It has more Shepherd-like appearance, or breeding in of Sharka. So the thing is also for the health, of course this can help, better hips and better stance. But breeding bigger dogs often is not good with health, and still these breeds are all plagued with hip dysplasia.